Hello everyone, I'm ImKibitz and welcome back to Satisfactory, where for half my lifetime I have been stuck in Armageddon, trying to make 60 nuclear pasta per minute, and it's driving me crazy. But we're closing in on the end. And last time we made our biggest dent in the project yet by making 256 refineries just in this pit here. A pit that could use a little bit of detailing. So today we're gonna be doing that, and then we're gonna be working on a really cool conceptual blueprint I've been thinking about that involves more refineries. And spoiler alert, it might be one of the coolest things I ever built. Or maybe when we redesign this pit, it will be the coolest thing I've ever built. But first, the pit. Or actually, no, quick test. Portals, eh? Well, I was thinking about this, and I was like, wait a second. We have these Mercer spheres that allow for like interdimensional stuff, right? So what happens if a Mercer sphere goes into a portal? Something crazy? The world's gonna change? It'll end the save? Oh, nothing in game. It just leads to today's sponsor, Raycon. It's Raycon's anniversary, and what better way to celebrate than with a deal on the Everyday Earbuds Classics. They're now 20% off, so it's the perfect time to get your hands on these. Reliable, super comfy, and easy to take anywhere. You'll see why they've been a fan favorite since day one. And not only do they work amazingly and come in a variety of awesome styles, but they've become my go-to adventure earbuds. I've made it my theme this year to go outside more, and whenever I'm scooting around or camping, I always bring my pair of Raycons. With the case, they have 32 hours of battery life, a quick charge function so whenever I need to move and groove quick, I know that 10 minutes of charging gives 90 minutes of playtime, and they have an awareness mode so I can choose to listen to my surroundings if I'm doing something a little spooky. So, support the channel and pick up a pair of Raycon's Everyday Earbud Classics today. Just click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/kibitz to get 20% off the Everyday Earbud Classics. This message is sponsored by Raycon. Now back to the copper. And wow, did past Kibs give us a lot to figure out here. I guess first things first, let's paint everything. Since we're working on a copper project, you better believe I'm gonna use the copper finish for as much as literally possible. It's so pretty. Almost too pretty. There we go, much better. So copper, very refined. Then for the next target. Right in the middle here, we have some refineries that are not like aligned with the rest of them. And I decided I wanted to encase this into some kind of like weird workshop building. Or in other words, hide this in a box. Along with a fancy metal roof. So dapper, so demure. Wow, look at all the metal and the pillars and the whatnot. Look, okay, it's a box. We'll detail it in a moment, okay? First step is just getting everything organized, painted, and then we'll work it out from there. Speaking of boxing things in and working things out, the control building. I got actually a kind of a good idea. One thing is, inside is we have a bunch of walkways and we have a bunch of conveyor throughput monitors. So by the throughput monitors and the walkways, I wanna have like a giant main window to look in and look out. So that is what we're gonna throw in around here. And because I was messing with the roofs, what if we messed with them even more? Glass roof for a window? Oh, I think so, bud. Or even better, what if we could have this indented a bit, like half a tile? Oh, now we're cooking with gas. We can move that somewhere else, and this will give so much interesting depth. Because if this build needs anything, it's depth. With boxes and all that jazz, you just don't want them to look boxy. To get past that point, you're good. Even if it's by like half a tile or so. Just add something. It's also why I put some of the conveyor lifts on the front of the build here. Just adds in a little bit of character, a little pizzazz. Whereas the rest of everything's gonna look a little plain, might be the right word. I don't know, we have lots of decorative options that we can employ, including using signs. Inside the pit here, we have these giant walls, and I was just kind of like, how do we fill them up? Well, with giant signs, of course. And if we just get rid of all of the pesky information, and give it the chosen color, bit of emission and gloss, wow, so bright, so neat, so wall filling. Look, it's just like a little bit of a start here. And it goes well with all of the copper and blues and whatnot around here. But we need to add in more signs. I'm thinking of making them a little bit of an art piece. Or we could have other billboards, kind of like out and about, like so maybe? Not 100% sure yet, but we could plaster those all across this wall here, and then maybe use the signs on the main build. Again, that worked out great. It's simple, looks pretty good, and I could even add some of those designs onto this building in the middle here. Where I decorated with some walkways. Walkways, the easiest decor thing in the game. Need something to look a little bit more busy, a little bit more interesting? Walkways, walkways everywhere. Walkways forever. And you better believe I did the same thing to the control building. Walkways out the wazoo. Just to add in that little bit of depth. And you know what? It's not bad. Signs are cool, got some different colors, added bits of depth wherever I could. In real talk, I probably should have thought of the control building's aesthetic design a bit more before I jumped into it. But with big projects like these, I'm happy with this being part of the whole. Like, this doesn't steal the show, it's just this is the whole show. And nothing in particular steals too much attention. Except for this horrific belt highway here, oh my gosh. But you know what? It's copper, it's fine. And for the most part, the front here is as well. I'll probably tweak it a little bit in a moment, but first, gotta go and finish up the back end. In real talk, it just needed to be serviceable because we're never gonna really be seeing this side. Because whenever we see the pit, it's gonna be from this angle. When we're flying through the hypertubes for whatever reason, enjoying the view from afar. But even then, we have our portal still, so will we even use hypertube cannons? I don't know. All I know is that technically speaking here, this project is done. Like even the interiors, all these walkways go to walking paths so we can walk on through and see what we need to see. Got some extra elevators doing their thing, and there's even a little bounce pad to get through the building even faster. Isn't that great? You know what, high-key, I'm actually pretty proud of how this building turned out. It was never supposed to be a whole thing, but it kind of ended up being a bit of a whole thing, and it really ain't too shabby. Well, also that's just because this entire project is amazing. I love this pit. Almost sad to see it go. Haha, JK, not. I'm so tired of these stupid refineries. But alas, there's still more copper powder to make. 3,500 left in the whole project. But I'm already so sick and tired of building these refineries. I don't want to build another 200 more. And so I was out on a walk and I was thinking about it, and I had a fantastic idea. It's not necessarily that I don't like building refineries. It's just I don't like building these rows, just because we've built so many of these same rows all over the place. No, we gotta mix it up. And I was thinking of ways to do so. Then I remembered our nuclear power plant. For one of the parts of the plant, we have this really, really cool Coliseum build. That monstrosity right over there. It deals with making a bunch of non-fissile uranium, I think it is. But for it, when we're building it, I made like a superstructure, which is just this like hexagonal concrete thing. And for each of these walls, I just plugged in a little blueprint. And after making like 4 or 5 or 6 of them, I don't really remember, we ended up with this. And I want more of this. So back to base here and bringing it back to the refineries then. How could we use blueprints in a way that'd make the refineries A, more fun to build, and B, look better? And the main idea is to make this now a multi-stage vertical blueprint. Having all the refineries just in a row, just ain't it, chief. I've had enough. We're going uppies. And along with that, I want things to be a lot more convenient. The recipe we're using to make all of this copper powder is pure copper ingot alternate, which is the most efficient. And when it's fully overclocked, each refinery can make 93.75 copper ingots per minute. You stack 16 of these suckers together, and that can handle 600 copper ore, which is very convenient. But then inside the blueprint, I want there to be constructors that can handle all of the ingots, turning it into powder. So if we have each layer with its own constructor, that'd be 93.75 times 4, which is 375 ingots per minute, which means that each constructor would need, oh geez, what is that, like 125% overclocking? Yeah, not a lot. But with the constructor and the refineries, then we can just put in the inputs and get out the outputs from each blueprint. No crazy copper belt highways all over the place. So with these things in mind, what do we do? Well, if we're not gonna have the refineries in a row, there's only one other option really, and that is to face them in a different orientation. We're gonna try setting this up like a star pattern. So we'll have the foundation centered like so, and we'll scoot this out into each of the corners. And I'm pretty sure we can get the refineries fitting there and looking pretty, right? Right. And there's even a little bit of space for belt and pipe work. But with the refineries facing in like this, we can have the constructor sitting somewhere in the middle, and it'll work out, probably. Starting to realize that the belt and pipe work here might get a little weird though. We'll build these first, really quick. Then we'll start with easy mode. We want the copper ingots to be dealt with ASAP, since all of the outputs are right here. So we could just have a merger here, and that is really easy. Output's done. Next, the constructor. Well, we want that by the output, of course, so just having that chilling right on above. Sounds pretty good to me. Just facing the other direction for the output of the mergers. Send her on up, maybe offset it a tiny bit, just so we can have A go to B. Seems my positioning was terrible here, but that's okay, that can be adjusted. No, we're gonna leave that B as I figure out the inputs now. That's a little bit more tricky. We do have space down here, and we're going for a taller design, so if we use the space down here, it's not really the end of the world, is it? Maybe then it could be more chill than I think. What if we just reuse the same kind of pattern we used for the outputs here? Like, what if we had a splitter, right? Splitter here, splitter there, maybe one a little less smart. And how do things shake out? What are the inputs? Right here. Oh, really? If we had these one lower, the inputs are gonna be at the same height. That's pretty aesthetically pleasing and also easy. Does this work all the way around? Let's get rid of some more of these foundations. We have this go down. Yes, and then we'll have the free open slot over here to bring items up and down, kind of the design. Not bad. And seriously, is it actually this chill? It's actually this chill? Oh, but wait a second. No, we're didn't even follow my golden rule. Dealing with the pipes first, because they always like to be finicky. But maybe we can get lucky. There's a chance. We have a little bit of room here, right? Everything else has been, all things considered, relatively simple. So let's just have the pipe there. And we split it up, just like we did with the mergers and the splitters. There's no way this just works, but can I dream for a moment? Is that okay? Oh my gosh, wait. Maybe it actually just works? That's the input right there. What about over this way? Here's the oh my gosh. Is this just working? Something's wrong. I don't trust it. It's too convenient. Oh, I see. With this pipe, we're gonna have to do a little something, but like overall, it's not bad. It's not a hard fix. Just move one of those out of the way and we kind of have our design here. Oh, and what's even better, because we made like a star design, when we add in some walls to give this a little bit of shape, there we go. Things just clip together very nicely. In fact, wait. We could even have like inputs and outputs on one wall. Oh, yes, we absolutely could. Yeah, no, I think this might be it. Like, for real. It works. And it looks pretty good once everything's encased. All the power is dealt with. Ratio set, belt work done. Looking a little funky inside there as well with all the beams and windows and such. And hey, let's take this outside and see how it looks. Perhaps beside the pit design here. So if we stack these suckers outside, they're gonna be in stacks of 4 because we need 16 refineries, remember? So we can just throw in 600 ore and call it a day. Maybe later I can make an extra blueprint as a bit of a connector piece there. But when we stack them up, how does it look from afar? That's our $1 million question. Well, it's something. Kind of weird. It's not bad, and it works. Maybe like a little bit of extra detail would go a long way with it, but I don't know. The star design's kind of and also you just keep seeing the refineries. Like, they look like they're just duct taped onto a tower. They don't really look like they're part of a build. And real talk, I'm comparing myself to the Coliseum here, and ImKibitz really cooked here. So although this is fine, it kind of only just meets expectations. And you know what? I think I can just do a little bit better. Let's use our knowledge and try this again. Except we're gonna be building outside this time, because I realized that the lighting makes all the difference in making something aesthetic. All right, I feel like we're on the right track with the star design. So let's rebuild that first. But now, what do we do with the refineries, right? Like, how else could we maneuver them around in here? Oh, would this work? Oh my gosh, we could use the refineries as walls to a tower. Oh, then all of this would be on the outside. We could see the steam coming out on top of there. Hold up. That is probably like 99% of the battle here. That could look crazy. Because just like with our last design, since we're on these angles here, we have our normal grid to work on in the middle, which means we could have walls in the middle. And look at how well they fit in between, just like before. Oh my goodness. Okay, I already know this is it. It's just about the inputs and the outputs. We're gonna have to use a wall hole. I guess we could try this out. Going that way. Output's done. Water pipes, they're not gonna work out super well, I doubt. Maybe just also for a bit of aesthetic. We'd have that over there. Go to here. And down there, okay, we are cooking with gas. And then for the input, we could have this at the tippy top. Have a reversed lift, scooting from A to B. And that was pretty easy. That was very, very easy. In fact, let's just do future Kibs a bit of a service. Like with our last design, right? We wanted to have the constructor a little bit higher up. So let's have the output go to the top layer, and the input be at the bottom layer. Ooh, it doesn't even clip. Ooh. And I think we got something going here, guys. I'm actually very excited. This is it. Oh, and we're gonna also have so much room inside this tower for belt work and stuff. So it'll probably get crazy, but it shouldn't be too bad. And so, our new Coliseum is prepared. Let's fill this thing with some guts. Well, if the outside walls are all gonna look kind of like this, then it's gonna be very, 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 very busy. So we're gonna have to have the inputs and outputs dealt with inside the tower itself. Then we could maybe just copy some of our old designs where we have our inputs, just like so. And then we'd have the vertical belt going up and down there, and then inputs on the bottom here, right? So just like before, just do the weird little star shapes, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and we are good. Inputs are done. As for the constructor, we want that sitting pretty right inside here. So we'll have that go there. For the outputs, we have so much space. Like, I don't know, something like this, right? We're collecting up the copper ingots. It's getting a little weird. Maybe we just have things go low again and make the conveyor lifts here. Or is that gonna be really weird and not work? No, that worked. Hold up, that just worked. So then we could do the same thing over here. Pretty much. And this last one is being a bit of a punk buster. How do we make that work? I think we're gonna have to get a little goofy for this. The guts here, this is like survival mode building. We just have to make things work, and the busyness will make it look cool. You know what, actually, the interior aesthetics, they don't even really matter. This just has to work, right? What we've just done is we made all of the outputs gather in one place, go into this machine, and that'll make the copper powder. Now for the powder output. Outputs have to go to this main item spine here, and they'll go all the way back down. If that's the case, we have the inputs there. Oh, and I just blocked the inputs off with this belt right there. Wait, twist the merger. Throw this one for a spin as well. Lane is now clear for activities, yippee. And for this belt, it just goes into whatever entrance was free there. Perfect, all right. Lane is back free for when we stack up the blueprints. Back to the output then. So the main output needs to get to around here. We could just bring it to this merger here. We'll have the input layer there, output here, belt shenanigans just over this way. And oh gosh, at A, it almost works, but B, I realized something just absolutely terrible. Oh no, I didn't follow my own golden rule of dealing with the pipes first. Oh dude, there's no way. I'm sneaking pipes around this. This is insane already, and we already have the clipping. Uh-oh, I don't think this is gonna be as simple as the last design. Yeah, nope, this melted my mind. This was not easy at all. Getting all of the belts all throughout this, along with keeping the free logistics lanes here and there. Whew. That was a challenge. We had half of it figured out though. Having like the splitters in the same row, very good idea. Same thing with the mergers. They just had to be moved around a little bit. It was the pipes, of course, that were the big whole problem. And having them stack up when we want to copy and paste this blueprint. And the trick I found was, this is gonna be where the pipes go from the last blueprint to the next one. They'll enter here, they'll go up this, and then they start splitting up all over the place from this vertical pipeline junction. So that's over to some refineries, that's over to some refineries. This continues all the way up. There is another pump. And wait, did I connect the other refineries? Oh, there's a splitter over here for the other refineries, then the vertical one, then there's a pump, and this will go up to the next layer. Because I could not get around the constructor's output belt. It needed to go this way to look pretty, it had to do it. So instead of the pipe going straight up and down, it's gonna go up into this blueprint, scoot around all the belts, go up to the next blueprint, scoot around all the belts, up and up and up and up, until we have the whole design working. And hey, it looks pretty cool from the top here, eh? Yeah, busy, busy, busy. Almost looks as good as the sides. Oh my gosh. The work we're doing earlier on the copper pit, that helped out a ton. I yoinked a bunch of the aesthetic stuff that I was doing over there and just applied it to this. Like adding in walkways everywhere. Are they usable? Nope. Do they look cool? Yes, sir. Different textures of walls, adding in more beams and glowing signs. And wherever I could really fit any detail, I fit it in. And this en masse, like stacked up into the sky, is gonna look so freaking good. So let's do it. Let's see how it looks. Back to the pit we go. Project's finished eons ago now and still keep on coming back. Look, we got a good amount of space here, and I like to see how the colors blend in together. Holy smokes! This blueprint is insane! This might be the craziest blueprint I've ever made in my life. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on. I do have to keep in mind the orientation though. This needs to go and match the bottom one, or else we can't run the main belt input through, or output. Okay, we can't also stack them perfectly together. So we're gonna have to make an entirely separate blueprint for kind of like this dead space here. Let's just say we can build that here. And then once it's all stacked like the last one, that is so much better. We desperately need an extra blueprint though to connect these properly, but overall, I see the vision. Do you see it? Mr. Bean? Mr. Bean doesn't appreciate art. No, this is it. And the refineries blend in so well. Like, it's not just refineries stuck into the side of like a 3x3 cube. They're really worked in so much better, and it made all the difference. So back to the blueprint designer then. It's time to make a hat for this wonderful little blueprint here. All right, how do we make the hat? Part of me is like, maybe I should clear this blueprint out, but I think we're gonna leave it in because it really matters a lot what's going on underneath the hat, because it needs to plop on very, very nice and snug like. So we'll zoop in the design up here just to get it started. Gotta leave our logistics lane open for belts to do their little shenanigans. And what's probably gonna be difficult is the corners now. Before, not a problem. Now, we will see. I have no idea what to do with this at all. Rush in blindly. It'll be fine. Yeah, it'll be fine. So we'd have something like this then, eh? Well, I want to cover these smokestacks. I don't want them just to be like, I don't know, out in the boot. I feel with smokestacks, either they're at the top of a build or they get encased. So let's just encase them. And then what? Well, you just do what you did before, past Kibs. Add in beams, walls, more details wherever possible. And now we have our little hat. And we can stack up the design from one blueprint, hat, to the next blueprint, hat, all the way up to space if we so choose. It's beautiful, isn't it? And yes, even with a little chimney like that, the blueprints stack just fine. I tested it. So we build the first, then again, we build the hat. Gotta have to nudge it into place, but connects up fine most of the time. Then we can go to the next main bit, throw that onto the hat, eventually. There we go, just gotta sneak that in as well. And the party can continue forever. if we so choose. Our plan is to have these be 4 tall, so they eat 600 copper ore. But then how much copper powder does it make? It'd be 4 times, was it 62.5? 250 powder? For all of this? Are you for real? Why am I acting surprised? It's not like I haven't been doing the same project for like a month. Woo, but man, does this look good, eh? Although we're gonna be building more refineries, I'm way happier building this monstrosity a dozen times instead of just the rows and rows and rows and rows and rows like we've been working on before. No, this is a million times better and is at least on par with the Colosseum. So good job, me. Thanks, me. And you too, Mr. Bean. You definitely helped. All right, we still have 3,500 copper powder that we need to make to finish up Armageddon. So that divided by 250 is 14. We have to build 14 of these towers somewhere. And I think most of you guys know exactly where. Because we've already harvested the green fields, everything out and around the Rocky Desert, and everything in between. Which leaves just one biome in the entire world that still has copper. Everybody's favorite place, the Dune Desert. Nature's last bastion. Because the entire rest of the planet is already connected to our infrastructure grid with trains and belts and factories and the whole 9 yards. Except for right here. I have left it pristine. Well, pristine.tm because I kind of cleared out all the power slugs and Somers loops and all that jazz. And I guess technically we did grab some stuff. But it doesn't really count over in the corner, right? Not when we still got all of this to work through. But anyway, our first major project in this biome is going to be harvesting tons and tons of copper ore and putting them into our towers. So I've built these bases for them as well. So there's an easy input-output. And we'll just stack these up all over the place. All 14 of them. In our last push to complete Armageddon. So now just imagine the landscape filled with these giant towers blotting the land. It will be glorious. And henceforth, we will be dubbing them Hell Spires. However, we'll build the rest of them next time, and that's gonna be all for now. So if you enjoyed, remember to leave a like and subscribe for more. And until then, have a fantastic rest of your day, and bye-bye.